Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
So today we are going to start a new theme for class 11, theme 4, and the title of the theme 4. Pick up your pencil to underline the important content. The Central Islamic Lands. The Central Islamic Lands. Before starting the lecture, and it will be our part 1, I am giving you homework. Note down the homework question. Today, as your homework from this chapter, you will do 2 questions from exercise. Answer in brief. The first question: what were the features of the lives of the Bedouins in the early 7th century? And second, what is meant by the term Abbasid Revolution? These 2 questions will be your homework. Okay? These are the questions belonging to this chapter now? Yes. So students, as we have started that how the Roman Empire declined when it reached its 4th century, and how from the 5th and 6th century Islamic world is going to flourish and establish. We are going to study now in the theme 4 the Central Islamic lands. And now come to the page number, next page 78. The rise of Islam in Arabia. The first heading is the rise of Islam in Arabia. The rise of Islam in Arabia. During 612 to 32, and the time period is 612 to 32. 632. These were the years when Islam has emerged as a main religion, which was not limited within Arab side, but it also flourished in the other European states, and we are going to study it. During 612 and 32, the Prophet Muhammad preached the worship of a single God. This name is very important when we study the Islamic culture, because Muhammad Prophet was a spiritual, or you can say spiritual guru for the all Islamic religious people. They take Muhammad Prophet as a, you can say, as we take as a holy saints in our culture. So Prophet Muhammad is very important to study, because he was a prophet, or he was a spiritual guru who has established the power of Islamic culture, not only religious but politically also. Okay, so it becomes very important. Underline the Prophet Muhammad. Preached the worship of a single God. He was a believer, and he educated all the followers of Islam that there is only one God, and which is to be known as the name of Allah. Believer of one God. So it is a philosophy. Write down, and if you are not write down it, please at least underline, so that you can understand the important thing from your chapter. So one God. That Prophet Muhammad believed that Islam and the people who are following the Islam, they have to believe only one God, and that should be known as Allah. Okay? No diversity, no so many, you can say, God or goddesses. Only one theory according to the Prophet Muhammad, that there is only one God, and all the Islamic people should drill in their mind that they will worship only one Allah. And the membership of a single community of believers, and the membership or the people who are coming under this membership of this tendency or this religious according to their culture. Now, this was the origin of Islam, and in this way, from 1612, under the supervision, under the guidance of Prophet Muhammad, Islamic culture started to come in existence, and the people used to follow the Islam. It was the beginning point of the Islamic culture. Under whose supervision? Prophet Muhammad. Okay. Muhammad was an Arab. He was an Arab. Okay. He was an Arab, and by language and culture. By language and culture, he belonged to the Arab. Okay. And a merchant by profession. He was a merchant by profession, but after some time he became a, you can say, spiritual, or you can say devotional preacher to the Islamic people. And by profession he was a merchant. Okay. Now, 6th century Arab culture was largely confined to the Arabian Peninsula and areas of the southern Syria and Mesopotamia. From the 6th century, from the 6th century, the Islamic culture is not limited within the Arab area, but it was also reached to the southern Mesopotamia and Syria. Southern Syria and Mesopotamia. And later you come to know that not only the religious values and the religious belief spread, that they created an Islamic world, but politically also. They became the political leader also. Okay. So you can see the influence of religion on the politics also. Okay. How they are became the powerful asset to the people. Okay. Which are associated with the feeling of Islamic culture. Now, the Arabs were divided into tribes. Okay. Kabila. Arab were divided into tribes. Arab were divided into tribes, and these tribes was known as Kabila. Kabila. Okay. Kabila again, it is a Urdu word. Okay, and Kabila, it means the people used to live in groups. Okay. Yes. Each led by a chief who was chosen partly on the basis of his family connection, but more for his personal courage, wisdom and generosity, and they were known as Murabba. Yeah, these terms. It is Murabba. Okay? Yeah. At the same time, you have to remember that the video is also going to be. So, it is Murabba. So, these terms is very important, because here you are learning the other language words also for the particular terms. Okay? Yes. So, you can see that each Kabila was having their head. Okay? Each Kabila had their heads. And how their heads to be chosen? On the basis of their family connection. And again, that how bright they are. They should be full of wisdom. Okay? Intelligent, courageous, bold. Got it? So, these were the quality of the head or each Kabila under Islamic culture. Understood? Now, and generosity also. Generosity means, as a leader shouldn't be only courageous all the time, only the brave all the time. He has to be generous also. Generous, understanding. Okay? Yes. Down to earth. Yeah. Because there are so many times where he has to lead as a head of the Kabila. So if the head will not be having so much of quality, then how the other member will be live in a coordination or in a peace? So these were the basic qualities or the head of the Kabila. Okay. Now, and these were known as Murabba. Each tribe had its own god or goddess. Now we are talking about under Kabila, each section or each, you can say each Kabila used to worship their own god and goddesses. It means diverse people. There are the people who are following the Islam from the starting, but when they expand their territories, nomadic, it means we are seeing now nomadic Bedouins. Okay, Bedouins moving from dry to green areas. And the dry to green areas were known as oases of the desert in search of food, mainly dates. You know dates? Khajur, dates. Yes, they used to eat it. Yes, they like to eat dates too much. Okay, so mainly these nomadic people, whom we are calling now Bedouins, they used to move from one place to another in desert, and especially the food they like to eat dates and fodder for their camels. Now they use, because we are calling them fodder. Okay, sorry, we are calling them nomads, pastoralists. Okay, so they used to satisfy their day-to-day, you can say, needs also, and they used to rear the cattle also. But here especially camels. Camels we are talking about. So here you have to limit your knowledge that what subject and what area you are studying. Okay, so we are studying that under one Kabila there are so many tribes who used to worship different gods and goddesses, and most of them professionally were nomads. Okay, or nomads you are reading here, the Bedouins, and these were used to go from green areas, okay, dry to green, and they not only eating their food, favorite food dates, but they also rearing their animal camel, oont. Okay, now some settled in cities and practiced trade or agriculture. Now some herders, or you can say some pastoralists or some nomads, they settled themselves in the city area, okay, and practice trade or agriculture, and they used to start agriculture and then trade. Okay, they were not limited only to rear their animals and to just satisfy their everyday meal. They now interested that they have to settle. Okay, because when we say the term nomads, they were unsettled people. You know, they used to just go from one area to another in search of food, to rear their animals. Okay, but now among them some were interested to settle themselves in the city area, and then if they are settling, it means now they were not nomads. So what they will do? They will need a settled economic system. So that's why they started agriculture, and after that agriculture, now they are having the enough amount of grains, okay, or food, or then they are also selling it in the nearby market. So trade also, they started small bit of trade also. Now some settled in the city are Muhammad's own tribe. Okay, now we are coming to important again. Esther. Very important. This chapter is very important. Okay. Yes. So many questions is to be asked. In history, every chapter is so important. Whatever in your syllabus. First thing is that. Okay. I instructed that you have to sit in the front. Why you have changed your seat? Now, Muhammad's own. Muhammad's own tribe. Own tribe. This is important. Underline. Own tribe was known as where I was Quraysh. following Islamic culture, not only that time, even today. As you take the name of Badrinath, Kedarnath in your religion, so for them it is also a holy place, a shrine, okay. And this Kaaba is located in Makkah, and this Makkah where the Muhammad's own tribe was used to live there, okay. Farish, okay. Remember, it is important. You have to learn these new words and new terms. Understood? You cannot ignore them. If you will not write in your answer, then how you will get marks? New thing that you have to learn. Now, yeah. Making annual pilgrimage. There a cube-like structure called Kaaba, in which idols were placed. They were also placed the idols also in the Kaaba, and the cube-like structure was there. Even tribes outside of Makkah considered the Kaaba as a holy and installed their own idols at this shrine, making annual pilgrimage Hajj. Hajj Yatra. Yes. So, annually the people used to go for Hajj, and when they return, they accept themselves that as the Hindu people, when we just go all the dhams, okay, and it makes the people so happy that now their life is worthwhile, now their life is fruitful, as they have visited all these, you can say, holy pilgrimage. In the same, the Islamic people also who annually go there, and this particular journey, or you can say yatra, is known as pilgrimage, is known as Hajj. So Hajj is very important. Hajj yatra, okay. Hajj. Because here you are studying the Islamic culture from 6th century up to the 7th century. So we are just reading about their cultural celebration, their beliefs, okay, in this chapter. Then Makkah was located on the crossroads of a trade route between Yemen and Syria. So the location of Makkah is very important in terms of trade also, because it is located between Yemen and Syria, which further enhanced the city's importance. The Meccan shrine was a sanctuary means haram, where violence was forbidden and protection given to all visitors. Okay, so the Makkah shrine is so famous, and not only for as a religious pilgrimage, but also that the people who used to visit there, they feel very secure, okay, and we feel very secure in our religious places, okay, and they feel any type of violence is forbidden, okay. No, people cannot create any type of violence there, okay. They used to live very harmoniously and very, you can say, quietly there. Now visitors I am talking about. Now pilgrimage and commerce gave the nomadic and settled tribes opportunity. These pilgrimages, Makkah as a pilgrimage for the Islamic people, and the commerce again the trade, has given the nomadic people so much of opportunity, and the settled tribe also the you can say opportunity to communicate with the one another and share their beliefs and customs. You know that it is so obvious that visitors are coming to visit the Makkah, and then the followers are also going there to do their day-to-day practices. The Hajj people, the people who are doing the annual pilgrimage as the Hajj Yatra, around the distant part of the world, people are going to show their faith and love. So now what is happening? The cultural transmission is going hand in hand. Understood? And when we say the cultural transmission, now the people sharing their ideas, their beliefs. What we will do? Where in a class also, now the new students has come up here. Okay, some are the previous student also come in the next class. So what we are doing? We are communicating with each other. When we communicate with each other, we just share our ideas all the time. You people not engage, you people not talk only about your syllabus. Okay, so Hajj or the Makkah became a significant point, as its location wise also it is between the Yemen and Syria. Okay, so the trade wise also, so now people who are going for trade also, they are also going to go there worship. Okay, so location wise also, now the visitors and the common people are connecting with each other, and they are sharing their cultural aspect, their belief, their religious belief, and so many things was going hand in hand. Okay, are you getting my point?
Yes.
Abhishek, got it? Yes. Now, pilgrimage and commerce gave the life to the nomadic and settled tribe so much of opportunity, that's all. Although the polytheistic Arabs. Now, polytheistic Arabs, I have given you the meaning of polytheist. Polytheistic Arab. Polytheistic Arabs means the Arabs who believe in the various gods and goddesses. Okay, yeah. We cannot say that all Arabs were from the starting period they believe in the one God. No. The people who follow the ideology of the Prophet Muhammad, they only believe in the one God existence. But when we say there were so many Arabs also who were having the tendency of polytheism. And okay, so it means they are believing not only one God existence, they are believing variety of gods and goddesses. As I have told you, within the Kabila, the people worshipping the different sort of gods and goddesses. So, polytheistic Arabs were vastly familiar with the notion of a supreme God, Allah, possibly under the influence of the Jewish and the Christian tribes living in their midst. Their attachment to idols and shrines was more immediate and stronger. Okay, so when we say polytheistic Arabs, these were the people, excuse me. So children, yes. So there were the polytheistic Arabs also who were having the great faith to worship the idol. I told now it becomes very challenging to just change the belief system. When we say belief system, it takes so many, you can say, generation to believe in one thing, religiously also and the other way also. So there were the Arabs also who believe in the worshipping of the variety of gods and goddesses, and they cannot act randomly. They were not ready to just randomly change the set mindset towards their religious background. Okay, so they were the worshipper of the idols. Now, around 612, Muhammad declared himself to be the messenger of God. It means Rasul. Messenger of Rasul means messenger of God. They are giving the recognition, okay, of God. It means the Rasul means God for him. Okay, and he declared himself that I am the messenger of Rasul. It means messenger of God. And if he is messenger of God, then all the people has to follow his instruction. And that who want to continue the Islamic practices. Understood? Okay. Now, and had been commanded to preach that Allah alone should be worshipped, and he had commanded, being a messenger of one God, it means Rasul. ये term याद करने, it is very urgent. You cannot ignore. याद रखना examination में these terms should be given by you, and if that is more good practice that you can also write down their meaning in English also. Understood? So don't ignore them. New thing you have to accept. And he said, and if I am the messenger of God, so everybody has to follow my instruction. And first instruction is that there is only one God. For Islam people or Islamic people, there is only one God, that is Allah. Okay? They are not allowed to worship the different sort of God and goddesses if they are following Islamic culture. Okay? Then, yeah. Further he said, the worship involves simple rituals. Now, how they will worship the one Allah? Simple rituals were there, such as daily prayers. So, daily prayers they are saying Salah. Okay? And moral principles such as distributing alms, some moral things also, good things, welfare for the other people. They have to give the alms, as the Hindu mythology also believes that we have to give the alms to the bhikshus or the saints. So they are saying that the follower of Islamic culture, according to the Prophet Muhammad, that have to daily do the prayers, it means salat. Second, we have to do some moral practices, that we have to distribute time to time the alms and abstaining from theft. And we have to stop ourselves to do any type of theft. Okay, we shouldn't do any type of robbery, any type of theft if we are following the Islamic community. These were the basic principles. Now, Muhammad was to found a community of believers, Ummah. Muhammad found one community of people who wants to be the member or who wants to follow the Islamic culture under the guidance of Prophet Muhammad, and he called such group of people Ummah. Okay, understood? So the people who were the member of the Ummah were the follower of Islamic culture, were the follower of the Prophet Muhammad's principle. Understood? Okay. Now, bound by a common set of religious beliefs. Definitely, that's why they are coming under one unit, which is known as Ummah. And yeah, Muhammad's message particularly appealed to those Makkans who felt deprived of the gains from trade and religion and were looking for a new community identity. Basically, Prophet Muhammad's principle and theory or ideology regarding the Islamic culture attracted to those people who were in the need to identify themselves that who they are. Okay, such as the people who were also facing the loss in the trade and religious, they want that religion wise also wanted their own identity. Such section of the people easily follow the Islamic culture under the theory of Prophet Muhammad. Okay, these people became the part of the Ummah in the starting. Those who accepted the doctrine were called Muslims, and in this how the terms or the identification of Muslim come to an existence. So now you come to know from where the word had originally originated. Who are the Muslims? First, they were the members of the Ummah under the Prophet Muhammad's doctrine. They were ready. So in this way, the community and the religion or the follower were known as the Muslims. Understood? यहाँ से. Then underline Muslims. Then Muhammad was to found a community of believers. Done. Bound by a common set of religious, the community would bear witness, shahada, to the existence of the religion before God as well as before members of the other religious community. Muhammad's message particularly appealed to those Makkans who felt deprived from those who accepted the policies were called Muslims. They were promised salvation on the day of judgment. It means Qiyamah and a share of the resource of the community while on the earth. Okay. So, after taking the identity as a Muslim, those who accepted the policy, they were promised that they will remain on salvation on the day of judgment. It means Qiyamah. Judgment is Qiyamah and share the resources of the community while on the earth. And they were not limited with their own personal interest. They will help the needy people also throughout their life. Okay, throughout their life, if they were the Muslim, okay, now we are using the term Muslim. Now we are not saying again and again the members of the Ummah. We are saying because now they got their identity. So these Muslims were bound to help the needful people throughout their life, okay, and they will also remain on fast, okay, you can say on fast, or they are saying salvation, okay, on the day of judgment. The Muslims soon faced considerable opposition from affluent Makkans who took often to the rejection of their deities and found the new religion that to the status and prosperity of Makkah. Okay, we will continue. Take the portion. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Welcome.